Good morning, everyone. We are creating a rustic sense of fall with a little touch of Halloween here this morning, all out of leftover wood scraps, because you can create some really festive compilations using log slices, your 4x4s, your 2x4s to create this really sweet pumpkin collection. And what I love about creating some of your own holiday decor is that you can put your own spin on things, of course, and create your own interpretation of some of those items. And it's just a really easy creative exercise to tap into as well when you're focused on whatever the theme, the holiday that you're going to be working for. So let's talk about some of the forms that you can use to create your own little rustic collection of pumpkins. This one here is just stacked up 2x4 scraps, different pieces that, they are just slightly in length. And we've got them a little off kilter to add some interest to the piece instead of having them all directly lined up. And they're just attached with some simple wood glue. You could also drill a hole down the center of all of them, put a wooden dowel in there, and make it so that your the different sections are movable. Another scrap of wood creates the stem at the top. This one is just a 4x4 that's been cut down, a little small section of it with some more scraps of wood. And some of these smaller pieces are just cut-offs from other projects. I like to keep a nice little bin of those because they're kind of they're shapes and things that you just wouldn't normally create. So the randomness of them is always really unique, and you can find some interesting ways to utilize them. So this was a really fun way to put to use some of those smaller wood scraps. We also kind of the same idea with the 2x4s is cut down the 4x4 into those individual tiles that we've also used as canvases and stacked those up, create some little smaller shaped pumpkins. You can also do the same thing with the log slices. And what I love about working with the log slices is you can search for logs that you can cut down that have different bark patterns to them for that additional texture and interest, and that can add some cool looks to them with how you stack them up. So pay attention to the logs that you're working with, the different types of barks that are out there, because that adds to the creative design that you are working with. You can also do some smaller ones. I love the little minis with just the smaller bits of wood, the 2x2s. We've got some scraps off of some, I think, banisters and different pieces that we've just kind of sanded down. And then you need to add some color. And there's a few different ways you can go about adding color to your pumpkin pieces. I love, you can just simply paint on them. And when you're painting, you want to work with just an interesting palette of all the fall colors. So don't work with just one color of orange. Add some white, some yellows and reds and browns, and do your mixing right on your piece. That's going to add some more depth to your color. If you just use the one color, it tends to look a little bit flat. So mix things up. Don't be afraid to, do your blending right on your piece. That's going to add some interest. When you're working with wood as your form, you can also, sand it down and get some interesting effects that way. You can also add color by, when you're looking through some of your magazines or books and things that you have, catalogs, really set your focus on the pages that have the colors of autumn, oranges, browns and the yellows and the reds, and you can clip out those sections, and then you can layer these on your wood pieces and create that kind of a collage effect, but get some really cool patterns for that color this way. You can also have maybe a bit more of a contemporary look to these by just working with stains, different colors of stains on your pieces. I'm starting to, I wanted to create a collection that's all white and different. Now you can play around with some different greens, but there's so many different looks that you can get with these. And then for the toppers, for the stems, this is where you can have fun with different odds and ends that you may have lying around, some different found objects. You can see here we've bundled up these little feathers. They make a great topper. Any of the old, thread thimbles or thread spools that we have, some branches, cut off pencils, different pieces of wire that we have coiled up. And I like to, you can just glue them directly to the top, or you can just take some small drill bits and drill some holes in the top. That really secures things a little bit better, and then you can kind of build off of that. If you find that you drill your hole too big, like I've done in a couple of places here, I just used some of the sawdust that came out of that with the wood glue. That helps fill that space back in. But so many really cool looks with just natural materials, leftover bits, your wood scraps, and this is the type of festive collection that you can add to every year. You can mix it in with some of your other decor, and you can even change it up by changing out the paint treatments that are on them each year. But these last for a very long time. They're a lot of fun to create, and there's something special about having a few of your holiday pieces that you set out every year that you've created yourself. Using the reclaimed materials just adds to the story. It's a really fun, festive, creative project for the entire family. Give it a go and see for yourself.